Hello and welcome to the special broadcast of India Today Global. We're here covering the India-Arab Ministerial Summit that is taking place in New Delhi. A lot of Arab ministers are here in New Delhi, and what is crucial is the future of India and the Arab world, but also tensions in the region that are going to be discussed, whether it's Iran or, for that matter, Palestine. Let's begin with Iran. There are threats, a massive armada by the United States of America, and President Donald Trump has threatened that Iran is going to be attacked unless it strikes a deal with the United States of America. Countries like Turkey are trying to be peacemakers over here, and Iran has said that diplomacy is the way forward, but it's not going to bend down or bow down to US threats and pressure. The coming days are going to be crucial. What's going to happen next? Preksha Jain with this report.
Is Iran really running out of time?
I have had, and I am planning on it, yeah. We have a lot of very big, very powerful ships sailing to Iran right now.
With a huge US armada headed towards the country and no sign of progress in dialogue, the indication of a strike couldn't be starker. Yet again, Donald Trump has warned of big, powerful ships sailing towards Iran that he would have to use unless Tehran meets his conditions. The Iranian regime stopping its crackdown on protesters is one of them. But it's certainly not Trump's only concern. What the American president really wants and has had his eyes on for a while is limiting Iran's nuclear program.
Have you had any conversations with Iran in the last few days, and are you planning on any?
I have had, and I am planning on it, yeah. We have a lot of very big, very powerful ships sailing to Iran right now, and it would be great if we didn't have to use them. Okay?
Can you say what the message was that you shared with Iranians?
Well, I told them two things. Number one, no nuclear, and number two, stop killing protesters. They're killing them by the thousands. You know, I stopped 837 hangings 2 weeks ago, but they're going to have to do something.
But Iran's no Venezuela. It has already warned of a counter-strike on US bases in response to any attack and rejected the scope of negotiation under threats. Iran's military spokesperson has pointed out that US aircraft carriers have serious vulnerabilities and that numerous US military assets in the Gulf region are within the range of Iran's missiles. But with the European Union listing Iran's Revolutionary Guards as a terrorist organization, the pressure seems to be catching up with the regime, and it has begun to garner support. Iranian foreign minister has travelled to Istanbul to meet with his Turkish counterpart. Turkey shares a border with Iran and is also a NATO member. It is thereby trying to play peacemaker, urging both parties to come to the negotiating table.
The resumption of nuclear negotiations between Iran and the US on a constructive basis is vital for reducing regional tensions. We have conveyed to all our counterparts, starting with our president, that we are against a military intervention in Iran.
Efforts to resolve tensions are in place, but neither Washington nor Tehran is known to be one to back down, and the threat of war looms larger than ever. Preksha Jain for India Today.
Joining me now to discuss the situation between Iran and America is Dr. Waiel Awwad, a strategic affairs expert, a West Asia expert. We're seeing a lot of Arab leaders come over here, ministers, deputy ministers, at a time when things are getting hot in the Persian Gulf. What's your reading of what's going to happen in the coming days?
Well, you see, when you are having a President Trump of the United States in the helm of power, you can expect anything. He may be talking there, he's looking for a diplomatic outcome, but he's not. He is more keen of doing something sabotaging any kind of tranquility in the region. Having said that, I would say that the presence of the Arab ministers in India and this summit after 10 years, it also gives you an indication that most of the Arab countries look at India as a stakeholder, a major stakeholder in the region. So India can play a major role in tranquilizing the area without going into a war. And that is why we do expect an all-out war, because Iran have already said it openly that you attack us even in a small attack, we will 10,000 times stronger than what you expected. So I think with all this ship and warship, he put it at the Strait of Hormuz, the main objective of the United States is to destroy Iran totally, disintegrate it, destroy its ballistic missile technology infrastructures, kill its scientists, and also close the Strait of Hormuz, where the trade, the global trade, will be a great impact, and India will be the first one to suffer.
But if US does anything, it's these Arab leaders who are here today. Their countries are going to be impacted, Dr. Awwad.
Absolutely. I mean, America is thousands of miles away from there. So immediately when this attack happened, because what Iran have said to the Arab country, whoever hosting the American military bases, that if any attack happened by the American on Iran, it will be at a legitimate target if any flight takes place from those military bases. So the American, that's why they're bringing the warships, they're going to Diego Garcia, they're bringing their sophisticated weapon they have used in Venezuela operation, or even they've been threatening the whole of the China. So if they wanted to attack, of course it is going to be a very huge impact on Iran. But I think Iran is full of surprises, and that's why Netanyahu himself, the Prime Minister of Israel, who told the American a week ago that to stop the war. The reason was because he knew that the retaliation from Iran will be more stronger than the American forces could afford to stop.
Dr. Waiel Awwad, thank you so much for joining us here on India Today Global.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
The issue of Palestine is also going to be a focus area in the India-Arab Foreign Ministers meeting. What is going to happen? To discuss this and more, I was joined by the Foreign Minister of the State of Palestine, Varsen Aghabekian, and this is what she had to say. Listen in. The Charter of Board of Peace, which has about 2,026 words, it's a 2,026-word document, and not one mention of Gaza or even the two-state solution.
Well, we have welcomed the peace agreement and the Board of Peace as it was stipulated in UN Security Council Resolution 2803. And 2803 was clear. It talks about how we move in Gaza from where we are today until a peace path and the probability of a statehood. So in that regard, we have welcomed the Board of Peace, and we hope that it moves in that direction.
Have things changed for the worse since President Trump came to office? Because he's more than just an ally of Netanyahu. In this Board of Peace, can Netanyahu be trusted?
Look, at least the war had stopped, even partially. So we take that as a positive step, but we need to build up on that positive step, and we need to beef it up because we need to tie it with international law. We need to tie it with our rights to self-determination. We need to tie it with the New York Declaration and so forth. When it comes to Netanyahu, I think Palestinians have a long history with Netanyahu, and we know the trends when it comes to agreements or ideas for moving on in the future, because Netanyahu has violated agreements left and right, and we know his vision. His vision is that of a greater Israel, and not only infringing on the rights of the Palestinians, but also on neighboring countries.
Zionist as a word is going to be considered hate speech now in the United States of America if used derogatory, in a derogatory manner. Your response to that?
My response to any wrongdoing is wrongdoing, because if any other country was doing what Israel is doing, you would tell that country that what you're doing is wrongdoing. And that wouldn't be against Zionism or anti-Semitic. So what is right is right. If you follow international law, then you're following just that.
Speaking of the rights of people and the fight that you've been fighting, how do you see the role of the Arab world? We've seen how Iran stood by this cause and fought on the side of the Palestinians. But what is your take on the role of the Arab world? Were they as forthcoming? Should they have done more?
Look, the Arab world is the backbone of the Palestinians. We might disagree on certain things, but in the final analysis, the issue of Palestine is of interest to all. And as such, we always ask for more from the Arabs, from all our allies, because we think we need to garner all the support we can. Today, I think the Arabs have stood tall when it comes to the ceasefire. There was a consensus on the displacement of Palestinians. If you remember when the talk was on the Riviera and the displacing of the Gazans, all the Arab countries, collectively and individually, said it very loudly, no on the displacement. Today, they are all on the two-state solution. Saudi Arabia has spearheaded the New York Declaration, and it has put all of its weight behind it. I believe there's a consensus in the Arab world on the resolution of this conflict, of this occupation, and the materialization of the two states.
I was just going to ask you about the Riviera. Do you think the border of peace or the plan for Gaza is not just to do with peace, but more to do with land? And the land would not be Israeli or Netanyahu's, but more so America and America taking a call on what they want to do with that land. Is that a concern? Is that a real concern for Palestine?
People are speculating. Yes, it would be a concern because that land is a Palestinian land. And any Riviera should be for its people, the Palestinian people.
So that's a concern that this land could very well not be Palestinian.
Well, hopefully it wouldn't because it is Palestinian land.
Is there any way of being on an engagement or a negotiating table with America, or is it always going to be a U.S.-Israel decision that would be thrust upon Palestine?
We need to push. We need to be around the table. We're not a menu. We have to be around the table on the decision-making level because today for Palestinians it's enough that people are continuing to talk about us. They need to speak with us. We are the side that needs to be spoken to, just like the world speaks to the Israelis. We are the other side. And it's high time that we come to that table, and we need to continue raising our voices on the necessity to be engaged.
And finally, in terms of India and India's position, in the recent past, you must have noticed and seen a little shift in India's voting pattern at the United Nations. What are your expectations? What are you taking to the table when you speak with your Indian counterpart on what India's historic position has been, the change, and where should India stand?
India should stand with international law. India is a two-stater. India is the largest democracy. India believes in international law, and they should go by what international law says, and as it pertains to Israel-Palestine. It's very clear the materialization of the state has to move on, and we would expect that India moves in that direction. India has been a very good friend for decades, and it has helped with humanitarian assistance. It has helped a lot with development assistance. And we already have several projects in Palestine going on, and we expect that to continue. And we expect it to continue being friends with Israel. We have absolutely no problem with that. We don't want to delegitimize Israel, but we want to legitimize Palestine. And when you are a friend, you can be a bridge if you wish to take that role.